Don't forget to donate to the hashtag Daytona Dream 2019 GoFundMe for your chance in January to win one of these 3 Kevin Harvick diecast. Now enjoy the video. Getting set for our penultimate race of the regular season as we prepare for race number 14 of the weekend for Division 1 and Division 2 drivers, getting one step closer to determining who will be the 16 drivers, 8 from Division 1, 8 from Division 2, that will battle in this season's playoffs. We kick things off here tonight from the Riki Raceway as we get set for Division 1 qualifying. First car out on track is going to be the 42 of Sebastian Kukulon, and as we wait for him to come up to speed, we welcome you everybody here as we get set for what should be a very exciting event this weekend. And it's been a while since we've actually been at Riki Raceway, so it should be interesting to see what type of racing there will be here this weekend at this track. We've also been able to start to maybe put together a little bit of an idea of who we're going to be seeing in the playoffs now, with only 2 races remaining. Last week, another brick in the wall when we were at the Zenjolta Super Speedway with Ashlyn Boyd, the points leader going in, won the race, and despite only 1 win, probably with that win with where he's positioned in points, is going to be locked up in the playoffs this season. We can also say as well that with only 2 races remaining, we can basically determine 6 drivers that are going to make it into the playoff grid. And right now, 6 drivers that I'm looking at that would be in those said positions would be 2-time winners Brady Burkhart and Ryan Butcher, and 1-time winners Ashlyn Boyd, Trent Dunham, Sebastian Kukulon, and Jessica Shelton. Right now, I think they are in position where they will make it into the playoffs, regardless of what happens into this week's race and the regular season finale race next week at Orlando. Although there are a couple of drivers that could maybe play spoilers. We've got Vance Caldwell right now coming into this race in the 7th seed, and right now the 8th seed would be Jose Mills. Mills has to worry about drivers like Jay Jefferson, Seth Cole, and Derek Hamill, who still could make late charges for one of those playoff positions. Plus, you've got the fact that there are a number of drivers, like the driver we're looking at here, Sebastian Kukulon, who could very well put themselves into, well, actually, Kukulon's got to win, never mind. But you got drivers like Laurent Lamount, JT Bryant, that's a car I was looking at, 22. You've got Patrick Sick, you've got Cody Smart, Diego Yepes, Matt Haas, Preston Plur, Tristan Folks, Austin LaPlante, even Philip Goldberg, J.J. Robinson, Carter Friesen. If any of them go to victory lane, they could put themselves in position for one of the playoff spots with where they're currently sitting in the points. Right now, top of the leaderboard, James Qualls. Qualls, a former pole sitter this season at Pigs Creek Super Speedway. Heading into this weekend, we are 26 for 26 in different drivers sitting on the pole with a combination of both Division 1 and Division 2. You gotta think, sooner or later, the streak's going to come to an end. Will it be here tonight in Division 1 qualifying? Sebastian Kukulon up to 2nd. JT Bryant up to the top now with a 34.749. Bryant does not have a pole yet this season. He is 5th in the point standings coming into this race. 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s. Still looking for that victory though. 2nd highest in the point standings without a win. The highest right now, Laurent Lamount, currently 4th in points. And JT Bryant's going to bring it to pit road as he just lost the top speed to 32 of Derek Hamill. And as soon as I say that, Sebastian Kukulon on top of the board. Let's find the 32 though. There he is. Jake Rogers in this group. Last week's winner, Ashlyn Boyd. Kyle Matthews, who's the only Restoration Enterprise car that hasn't won yet this season. His teammate Charles Sanford became the first confirmed driver in the playoffs for Division 2, picking up his 2nd win of the season last week at Zenjoltas. Carter Friesen right there as well in the 75. One of those drivers I mentioned that with a win could put himself into a playoff spot. Derek Hamill comes into this race right now in that critical 30th position in the point standings, but as I said, they're all chasing Jose Mills right now, who's in the 8th seed. Jay Jefferson comes into this race 3 points behind him. Seth Cole is currently 10 points back. And Derek Hamill currently sits 21 points back behind Jose Mills. So it is still very close and still anybody's game with the drivers already this season that have gone to victory lane. There is Brady Burkhart. He and Ryan Butcher, all they got to do is stay in the top 30 in points, which in the remaining 2 races, let's see, Burkhart comes into this race roughly 100 points ahead of 30th in the standings, and Ryan Butcher is about 70 points ahead, so mathematically the likelihood is that neither one of them are going to fall outside the top 30 in points, so they're locked in, obviously, with their multiple wins this season into the playoffs. And there is Trent Dunham. Trent Dunham with a win, and he is currently about 100 points, a little bit more than 100 points ahead of 30th in the standings as well. As a matter of fact, the gap from him back to the 8th seed Jose Mills is about 83 points, which is more than 2 races. So that's why Trent comes into this race basically locked into the playoffs as well. There's Preston Plord, our Daytona pole sitter. Right now he's 26th on the charts. Preston comes into this race 13th in points, so he could, with a win this weekend, put himself into a playoff position. Patrick Sick, 6th in the points, so a win would put him into a playoff spot. I mean, it's not over till it's over. Vance Caldwell, Jose Mills, maybe, well, I can't say maybe Jessica Shelton because it would really depend. With Shelton, I think what she has to worry about is staying ahead of Caldwell and Mills. Caldwell and Mills, they have to worry about a different driver going to victory lane. So Cooley leaving pit road right now. We know he had a fast car last week at Zenjoltis. There's Matt Haas, J.J. Roberts. There are a couple of drivers that I mentioned that if they win, they'd be possibly in the playoffs, where they're positioned in points. And right there is the fastest car on track, Sebastian Kukul on the 42. Running behind Vance Caldwell and Jay Jefferson, so you've got race winners lined up nose to tail there. Jefferson, who won back at Todd Ring. Vance Caldwell, who won back at, I want to say it was Madrid. Pensacola. Can't off the top of my head remember. Oh no, wait a minute. Jefferson won at Texas World, my apologies. Sebastian Kukulon won the week before at Todd Ring, and was it Madrid that Cole won at? Yes, it was. Right now, Kukulon top of the board, Caldwell third, Jefferson 7th, so both of them looking, all 3 of them looking good to make it to the next round. You've got Laurent Lamont up there in 2nd, Hamill there in 4th, Cody Smart right there in 5th, and top of the board, Laurent Lamont in 36th. Carter Friesen jumped up there with him along with Jake Rogers. They are now 1, 2, 3. That moved Jay Jefferson, just like that, down to the bubble spot of 10th. So Jefferson hoping that a 47.718, or 34 rather. Wow, we're going to get a 47 for 34.718 is going to be able to hold on. Ashlyn Boyd, last week's winner, up there in 8th. Kyle Matthews up in 9th. With Lamont, Friesen, and Rogers jumping up, that eliminated out Bryant and Shelton at this point. As I'm looking here, I'm trying to see as far as pole sitters. Brent Lamont is a former pole sitter, I know that. I think Ashlyn Boyd's a former pole sitter as well. I think he had the pole back at Armory, but everybody else I'm not exactly remembering sitting on the pole. Caldwell might be a former pole sitter. Yes, he is. I'd have to look back and find out where that pole was at, though. Right now, Laurent Lamont. We haven't really talked a heck of a lot about Laurent Lamont this season as far as qualifying for the last couple of weeks. Remember, he was a absolute fire, prairie fire when we started out the season. And did somebody just jump up in the top 10? Nope. But Laurent Lamont looking like he's getting back to his qualifying ways anyway. Right now, he tops the leaderboard, and mentioned that his good qualifying results never really seem to equal out to a good finishing result, and his bad qualifying results always seem to equal out to good finishing results. Well, he hasn't had the best of qualifying results, but he's 4th in the point standing, so don't know if he wants to be qualifying good here or not, as Derek Hamill now jumps top of the board there in the 32. Oh, actually, they tied. Hamill and Lamount have tied with a 34.485. Shane Lake jumped up into the top 10 along with James Qualls. Jefferson still there in 10th, though. He's just barely hanging on as Duncan is also up inside the top 10 in 6th. So that eliminated out Kyle Matthews, Ashlyn Boyd, Cody Smart. And with only a little time remaining, Jefferson got knocked out. Who moved in? It was Brady Burkhart, up to 9th. Now Caldwell is on the bubble spot. Vance Caldwell's back in this group, if I recall correctly, right here. Yep, there he is. Trying to hold on, make it into the next round of qualifying. Jake Rogers up there in the top 5 and 4th. We haven't seen a lot of speed out of him last couple of weeks. Same can be said for Shane Lake. Same can be said for James Qualls. They're all hoping that they can make it in last minute. Qualls is coming to pit road. I think he thinks his 34.5s across the board are going to get him in. And lap times are no longer being counted. So Vance Caldwell will get the final spot. And Derek Hamill will be the fastest in the first round of qualifying, along with Laurent Lamount, as they tied with 4.85s. So they are fastest in round 1. Carter Friesen will make it into the next round as he's 3rd, Rogers 4th, Kukulon 5th, Duncan, Qualls, Lake, Burkhart, and Caldwell will complete your top 10 to battle it out for the pole. And out of those, I believe 4 of them, Lamount, Kukulon, Qualls, and Caldwell, are former pole sitters. So will the streak end here tonight? Odds look like they could, but we'll have to wait and see. Jay Jefferson trying to get himself back into a playoff spot. He's going to start the race tomorrow night in 11th. Kyle Matthews will be 12th. Last week's winner, Ashlyn Boyd, will line up in row 7 with Andrew Miller. Cody Smart will complete the top 15. Then it's Butcher, Shelton, Ray, Zorlin, and Bryant. That's going to be your top 20 as you look on down through the remainder of the qualifying results here. Trent Dunham already locked into the playoffs. Not the best qualifying result, but we'll see what he does in the race trim as he qualified in 38th. And a couple of drivers that really could put themselves in the playoff picture if they get a win that weren't exactly up there inside the top 25. Got Folks in 26th, Zick in 28th, Benjamin Miles back there in 29th place, Plord in 30th, Roberts 32nd, Haas in 33rd, and LaPlante in 34th. So they've got some work to do when the green flag flies here tomorrow evening. But that's going to do it here for round 1. Let's find out who's going to get the pole. Will the streak continue to 27, or will we get our first 2-time pole sitter on the year here at Riki? Don't go away, round 2 coming up. All right, so let's find out who's going to get the pole position. We have a 60% chance of a new pole sitter, and we have a 40% chance of our first, and I said first, this late in the season, repeat pole sitter. Right now, the drivers that are trying to have that feat, first car out on track, the 36 of Laurent Lamount, as well as the 42 of Sebastian Kukulon, the 70 of James Qualls, and the 16 of Vance Caldwell. Let's take a look and see where the drivers that transferred into this second round of qualifying, where they come into this race in the point standings. Right now, Brady Burkhart is the highest in the points. The 2-time winner is 3rd in the standings. Laurent Lamount that we're looking at here, 4th in points. Sebastian Kukulon, is 9th in the standings. Vance Caldwell is 16th in points coming into this race. Carter Friesen 19th, and as I mentioned, a number of these drivers like Friesen, like Caldwell, like Lamount, with a win, they could put themselves into playoff competition. Then you got Shane Lake, he's 24th in the points coming into this race. Derek Hamill is 30th. William Duncan all the way down in 36th, but 2 of the Flying Aces International cars make it into the second round of qualifying, and Jake Rogers currently 38th in points, with James Qualls currently in the cellar, 40th in the points coming into this race, but certainly it would be a bit of a silver lining in what's been a gray cloud of a regular season for James Qualls if he could come away as the first repeat pole sitter of the Skittles Super Speedway Series. Gonna do a little bit of a fan around the field here just to see if anybody has left pit road with anybody else, because that's where your pole sitter is going to be. And you got Derek Hamill and Sebastian Kukulon running together right now. And they might merge with Shane Lake. So this could be right here where you'll find your pole sitter. Shane Lake's in a pretty good spot right now. He'll get up to speed, still be with his group, I think, and he might get a pretty good draft lap this next time by. We'll see. Vance Caldwell trying to get the draft off of Laurent Lamount. He might be able to. So Caldwell might have a shot at the pole. And I think we're really going to like the lap time of Shane Lake here this next time around if he is still in the draft of the 42 and the 32. Sebastian Kukulon, former pole sitter this season, back at Toddring. So he's trying to get what would be his second pole in 4 weeks. So right now Derek Hamill is the fastest. He was the car out in front with this duo. Oh man, Shane Lake's going to have a good lap here. And he might even get a better lap next time by. Let's see what it's going to be. I think he's going to go top of the board in that 55. And he does. 35.189. That's 0.3 faster than Sebastian Kukulon, who ran a 4.24. Right now, Shane Lake looks like he could be the driver that's going to be the 27th different pole sitter this season. Carter Friesen they're reeling in here, so maybe he has enough time to put down a lap. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to beat Shane Lake's lap time, because Shane Lake has the benefit of about 3 car lengths between himself and the duo of Hamill and Kukulon. I think this lap time is going to be much slower. I think he's probably going to be in the 35.3s now. No, he ran faster. 34.988. Hamill ran a 35.147, but that's almost 0.2 slower than Lake's lap, so Lake was even faster that time. The only driver to break into the 34s, as we're waiting for someone to lay down a lap time. I think it's William Duncan hasn't laid down a lap yet in the 17. Kukulon now at the tail end of this group. Is he going to have something for Shane Lake's lap? His fastest lap so far is a 2.65. Can he get into the 34s? No, 2.04. That only jumps him to 4th. But I think he's got one more lap to be able to try and do something here. Carter Friesen right now is up to 2nd, 35.110. So he's en route to his best starting spot of the season. Hamill right now in 3rd, Kukulon in 4th. And now running side by side with Hamill. I think that's going to hurt his straightaway speed. I think Shane Lake might have this pole position. It'd be the first one of the season for the 55 team, and it would increase our streak to 27 races, 27 different pole sitters. And that time by, the lap was not even counted for Kukulon. I think that the session has come to a close. And so Shane Lake with perfect positioning to come off pit road behind Hamill and Kukulon. He is going to pick up his first pole of the season. And he will be leading the field to green. You look right there, that's what your front row is going to look like, with Lake on the inside and Friesen on the outside coming to the green flag at tomorrow night's race here from Riki Raceway. Did lay down a lap time, so all 10 drivers did take time. Oh, somebody's lap got counted. Hamill's lap got counted. And that just displaced Carter Friesen off the front row. Almost a 35 flat, 0.001 for Derek Hamill. So Hamill will get 2nd place. I didn't know they were counting lap time still, so it will be Hamill on the outside of the front row with Shane Lake, but the pole sitter remains the same, as it will be the Advocare Chevrolet that will lead the 40-car field to the green tomorrow night. Friesen is going to start 3rd rather than 2nd. Looks like Kukulon will be 4th and Laurent Lamount will be 5th. And the streak, somehow, someway, has increased to 27 different drivers that are going to be on the pole here consecutively in the Skittles Superspeedway Series. I'm shocked.
Drivers,
I honestly didn't think we'd make it to 20. And we are close to reaching 30 here during the regular season. But Lake officially is the pole sitter, only driver to hit the 34-second lap time, and so bring it home with a 9.88. Almost cracking into the 34s was Derek Hamill. He'll start on the outside of the front row. Of course, Derek Hamill trying to get himself up there in the point standings to get back into a playoff spot. Carter Friesen wants a win to get himself into a playoff position. Sebastian Kukulon wants to be a 2-time winner, as he currently sits on the outside of row 2 for the grid. Laurent Lamount will be 5th with Caldwell, Qualls, Duncan, Burkhart, and Rogers, your top 10. So the grid The grid is set for tomorrow night's race here from Riki Raceway. Boy, I'm doing great. And we will now find out in just a moment, later on tonight, who will be qualifying where for the Division 2 drivers. So with everything getting even more nitty-gritty and the pressure amping up even more, it should be a wild race here at the Riki Raceway in tomorrow night's event, and then for Division 2 in Sunday night's event. Thank you all for tuning in to this qualifying session. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give me a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. We will see you guys later on this evening for Division 2 qualifying from Riki. Until then, you've been watching NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.